Hello, hello, hello. My name is Joe.
And I'm Jordan.
And this is Double Trouble Features.
Ow! Ow!
Ooh, I like that echo.
I know.
Oh, in this new room. Oh, it's so beautiful.
Yeah, we got a new area, new place.
We've taken a little bit of a break. You've been moving. Things are getting crazy. You bought a house, being an adult. I turned 30. God.
How does it feel to be in a new age bracket?
The wheel of time stops for no one. Honestly, it's kind of fun. It's like being like 20 again. It's like a whole new world of 30-year-olds.
Yeah, like just saying like, hey, I'm 29. It's so awkward.
I saw something recently. It was like being 29 is like staying at the party too late, but you don't want to be there either. And you're like, my ride is coming.
Yeah.
Like it's on its way. I promise you I'm trying to leave. It's just the Ubers aren't, and they're like, ugh, I'm trying. And so now that it's 30, I did say, I was like, it's like staring down the barrel of the shotgun of the rest of my life, and you're not sure whether to kiss it or bite it.
Bite a shotgun?
Metaphorically speaking.
Ow, for my teeth.
Yeah, exactly. That's the point.
Or kiss it.
Or kiss it. You're staring down the barrel of the shotgun of the rest of your life, and you don't know whether or.
You know what? If you're gonna bite or kiss a shotgun,
it's a metaphor, you twat.
Fuck your life already.
Anyways, yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm glad you're on board. You get it.
We're on the same page.
We're saying the same thing. Life is hard and it's awful. But no. We've just been busy living our lives, but we are back.
Yes, and we got a great show for you guys. We're going to talk about again. It is Joe turning 30.
Yes.
So we're going to talk about some of Joe's favorite movies, TV shows, and just shit that he's gone with in the past 30 years. And then this week, we only got one movie that we're going to talk about. And that's going to be...
Furiosa.
A
Mad Max story.
Yeah. Then, of course, we always got our favorite TV recommendations. And then we're going to talk about something that's been a little pressing lately. But... let's get into it. Okay. So again, I got a set of questions for Joe. He doesn't know any of this, so this is all off the rip. And let's see how he's going to do.
I'm so nervous.
All right, you're 30.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on 13 going on 30? What are your thoughts on that movie?
Look, that movie is a national treasure, and Jennifer Garner should award an Oscar for that. And don't even get me started on Mark Ruffalo and good God, Judy Greer. Here's the thing. I can name the whole cast right now for you. Razzles, I still have never had a Razzle, honestly, to this day. I don't know how Razzles paid for that, whatever. But no, that movie is interesting. Honestly, I kind of think back of that and like if I could go back to being 13 knowing what I know now, would I? And the answer is no. I'd never go back to that bullshit.
I always think that like those kind of like body swap movies are so interesting because it's just like, holy shit. I'm like now just in like a 30-year-old body all of a sudden, or I'm like I've either aged or de-aged in all these movies. And I'm just like, that would just psychologically like just damage me forever.
Well, I mean, imagine being like, that's kind of the plot of Poor Things, is imagine being 13 in a 30-year-old's body. Like me at 13 at the private Christian school, praying the gay away the best I could while like getting actively bullied about my gay voice because like it pops up quick.
The first time I met you, definitely thought you were straight.
Yeah, fuck you. No, I was like, was it before? Though he said this before, and I was like, was it before I opened my mouth? And he's like, I'm fucking with you. I was like, oh yes. Because I mean, if you look at me and I'm wearing like my flannels and my jeans, I could be a Missouri Proud Boy.
Yeah,
like
a Proud Boy.
I said I could be because I got the beard, I got the belly.
You look like you go hunting on the weekends.
I look, but then I open this mouth and it's just fucking Judy Garland coming out, and you're just like,
this man has sucked a couple dicks.
That's a throat of a man that's been used. But no, 13 going on 30. That movie just also holds such a special to your heart. Honestly,
it's a good movie.
That's the movie that taught me how to do the Thriller dance.
Not the actual Thriller
because they did it slower for me. I was a kid.
No, actually, in gym class, that was like, so we had like like a dance and like routine like that we had to do, and we
Oh.
learned the Thriller dance. Like
Good.
that was what we had to
Culture.
do.
I mean, you go down the street and there's just like during Halloween, you go down to the haunted houses in
Yeah.
West Bottoms, and there will be like little dance troops just doing it everywhere. Like you gotta get out of the way, and these kids are just throwing their Thriller zombie faces at you. I live.
So I used to actually really love the Thriller like song until one time my dad for Halloween just put his speakers out and just played the Thriller song
Oh
on
my God.
repeat.
Not even a Monster Mash.
No, not
Like-
just Thriller, nonstop. And I was like, you know what? I'm kind of over the song.
See, for me, it was like I got sick of it because of school, and they would have it for guard, and they would have it for this, and I was just
Yeah.
like, to be honest, I just think we need something new. Here's the thing: white people ruined it. A bunch of white people.
Facts.
Look,
And my dad.
Look, and but like that's the thing is like it's just been overused and overdone, and it needs to be only during Halloween, and it needs to
great
be
song,
like,
though.
it needs
It
to
is a
be
great song.
once during Halloween. It's like a Christmas Carol. You don't need to watch a Christmas Carol all 25 days of Christmas. You watch it once for or whatever it is. The Grinch.
So
It's a staple.
speaking of that, going back to you, what is like the quintessential movie for you of like growing up? Like if you're like, this movie like defines my childhood.
Ooh, that one's hard, but I'd have to say Hook. Like,
Okay.
I know that's not necessarily an original answer, but there was something about Robin Williams and just that time and the like all the practical effects. Like they created a Neverland out of nothing, and it was all these kids, and that was kind of like where I do remember like Rufio was my first crush. Dante Bosco, hey, if you ever want to go gay, I'm here for you, baby. I know you're not, but like if you ever think about it, you have a white man in Missouri who will love you. But no, like that movie, I don't know. And I just remember I always thought about it like, so my grandma had two movies. It was Jumanji and Hook. And whenever I would go over to grandma's, I would watch those two movies. I love Jumanji to death.
Jumanji's a great movie.
I love like it was like really hit or miss, and that was kind of like my it's one of these two Robin Williams movies.
I mean, R.I.P. Like,
But like those two, just like the practical effects and the world building in those, like that's what made me fall in love with like storytelling, because it was like they were really good stories and they unfolded, and they were kids movies, but they didn't baby you. Like Rufio was murdered in cold blood. Like I watched that like as a child, and like knowing that like that's the thing is like back in my day, because I'm 30 now, like some of those movies back then just like were darker. So I think there's honestly like a subgenre that is more into anything of like me growing up, and that's that like darker fantasy. Like I'm thinking even just like I said, Hook, Jumanji, those are a little more lighter, but they do have dark themes. But like Dark Crystal, The Labyrinth, like those movies that I watched growing up as a kid were very formative on like what I like and like the styles I liked. I love a practical effect fantasy world. It's so interesting to me.
yeah, because like CGI is kind of like taking a lot. But I'm not gonna lie. And we're definitely going to get into like Game of Thrones and House of Dragons starting next week. But the acting, I think it's harder to act that way with all the CGI in the room and like the green screens and stuff like that. But I do think, and I think that's why like Christopher Nolan's very successful, is because he brings such a practicality like to the screen.
I think it needs to be mixed. I think there needs to be like the basic like even just like an outfit or a costume. There needs to be a basic structure, but then it's embezzled with CGI. That's what I think should be like And what like I've found really interesting in movies and television is when they find a way to mix them together. And I'm thinking of like Hellboy 2, The Golden Army.
Yeah.
That movie had crazy special effects in it, and it's specifically practical.
Terrible movie though.
That's not the point. That's not the point. I'm just a sucker for a practical effect. I will always, I don't know, maybe this is just the old man in me, but I will always be more impressed with a good practical effect than a good CGI.
Yeah, because I don't know, anybody and everybody can do CGI.
It's just more creative, and you make it look real. Like when I see blood spraying out of a man's head and it's not CGI, I'm like, wow, that's art.
Yeah. And what is your favorite series? Like movie series
Movie series.
Yes.
This is kind of a weird one, but I know Pirates of the Caribbean.
Okay, first, that's not weird, bro. That's not weird because that's fantastic.
But here's the thing: I take it too far. Like even the fourth and fifth movie, like I still like those movies.
Oh.
See, yeah, no, I want, and I'm like, anytime they like mention like maybe a sixth one's coming up, I get excited because I don't care if it's bad. It was never really that great to begin with. I don't care.
I don't think. I think they are good movies. They like. Okay, first of all, Pirates of the Caribbean, fantastic movie series.
Yes.
The trilogy, like the first three,
trilogy, yeah.
I would say can like go against any other trilogy that's out there.
Yeah.
I think what just really sold Pirates of the Caribbean was maybe not the story, but just Johnny Depp selling himself into that character.
It was just fun.
It was a fun time, fun movie.
It was fun. It was enjoyable. There were good stakes, but it was pirates and like and everyone. And that's the thing. You could not do that movie without Johnny Depp. Like,
no,
if like
can't.
that's the biggest thing, and I think that's one of the biggest things. Like why they kind of stopped, because I know that like Johnny Depp and Disney kind of got into it with the whole Amber Heard thing.
Yeah,
and so it's interesting from that aspect. But like, they were just fun blockbuster movies. You would go on like a Tuesday afternoon with your mom because she had nothing else. At least this was for me because she was a teacher. Like she would take us to like the matinees at the theaters because it was like $5 and we go see it and it would be so much fun. But like the fourth one I get, but like the fifth one was still fun. It had Johnny Depp in it. It went back into the main story a little bit because it's Will Turner's son. That kind of brought it around for me. The fourth one, I can understand why a lot of people.
Fourth one's terrible.
I can understand why a lot of it, but I liked it just because it expanded the lore a little bit. I like the lore of this weird pirate universe in the Caribbean. That's our world, but there's also so much like magic and mystery we don't understand.
What's your favorite movie?
My favorite movie ever is
no, not ever. Like, in that series.
It's between the second and third.
Dead Man's Chest. I've seen. I don't know how many times.
Dead Man's Chest. I think just is such a good middle movie, and I know that sounds weird, but like in a trilogy, I feel like sometimes the middle one usually gets like left out, like it's just like nothing but world building up until the third movie. They're like, hey, if we want to make this story interesting in the third one, we have to do all this backstory in the second one, which they did do a little bit,
and that's why I think like we give these like those kind of sequels such high praise because like you're right, the middle movie can fall off, but like you have like Empire Strike Back, Doom 2, like, and then Dead Man's Chest, who just take that first movie, that blueprint, and just go to another level.
Yeah,
and I think it went to such a much better level in the second movie.
And then I think that really set them up really well for the third one. I think it almost feels like they tied up too many loose ends and they were like, oh, this is it. They're like, we're not going to make any more.
And so like that's why I was very shocked when they came out with the 4 because I was just like, everything's done.
The fourth one was just a money grab. The fifth one was a money grab, but they learned a little bit of their lessons. They're like, we have to tie back to the main story somehow. Like people, you can't just like deviate like that. But no, it's fun. It's fanciful. It's world building. And that's the thing about the second one is it does, like you said, it takes that first one and just shoots off with now we have Davy Jones and this chest and now Tia Doma's here. But like, and then we find out later that she's actually the god of the ocean. Like what are we talking about?
No.
But it felt like it made sense.
Yeah. Last question. Okay, these are gonna be quick fire.
Okay.
all about TV shows.
Okay.
Okay. Best competitive TV show.
Oh God, that's really, really hard. But I'm sorry, it's still Survivor.
Still Survivor.
Still Survivor. That show, I'm gagged and gooped. The mind games you have to play. It's so physical and mentally draining.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't do it. I see it every time, and I'm like, no. Every time Jeff Probst is like, "Do you want to be on Survivor?" Fuck no. But I'm gonna watch them suffer.
What is your must-watch TV show that, like, if you need to know me, watch this show?
Buffy the Vampire Slayer for sure. It is. You've heard me talk about it all the time. I was watching this show when I was like 4. I'm not kidding. I was 4 years old when it came out, and I've been watching it since on the WB, and then it was on UPX.
Shout out to WB.
Shout out to the WB. Even though girl, Warner Brothers, get your shit together. But I loved it, and when it went over to UPX, and I think that like what's interesting about that show is like I kind of grew up with it, and every time I watched it, I got more pieces out of it because I watched it at different times in my life. Like I watched it as a young child and I was like, monsters, fun, scary, whatever. And then I watched it as like a teenager, and it was, dealing with like teen life actually, because she was a teenager.
Yeah.
And then it goes fully into like college and all that. So then I watched it in college, and it was like dealing with all of those different aspects. So it really is an interesting like character study of this young woman's life who just so happens to deal with all of these monsters.
So besides Buffy, if you had to bring back one TV show,
True Blood.
True Blood. Okay.
Without a fucking,
Which is basically a little bit of Buffy.
a little bit, but more grown up.
Yes, way more grown up.
What's crazy about True Blood is like during that time period, that like 2005 to like 2011, like that time period, TV shows got really weird and really bold, and they were telling these storylines that were like trying to be progressive but come off a little offensive. I'm thinking of like Glee. Going back and watching Glee is crazy because you will
cringy as hell.
It's cringy as hell because but at the time, like there weren't even gay characters, so having these gay storylines, it was like crazy to even think about it, especially gay teenagers.
Yeah.
Like it was like groundbreaking at the time. I'm using air quotes around groundbreaking. People forget that Glee was groundbreaking, but it is the most offensive fucking show I've seen in a long time. True Blood doesn't have that. It tells queer storylines. It tells different racial aspects because it's all in the deep South.
Yeah.
And one of the main characters is black. And so like you have to get into all of it. And it was just True Blood. I wish it could come back today. I think it would do so well in this market.
I actually think it would do well.
I think it would do really
because I felt like True Blood was never heavily promoted.
No, it was ahead of its time, but it was on HBO before Game of Thrones.
Yeah, but HBO still was like the premier place to watch TV shows. But I just felt like out of all the TV shows that came out in those like late 2000s, I feel like True Blood was never like, hey, this is the show you need to watch. Like HBO was never like, please watch this show.
I feel it definitely did get some of its credit in the day. I'm thinking of like the famous Entertainment Weekly thing where it was Anna Paquin and Alexander Skarsgård and the guy who plays Bill. I can't remember the name off the top of his head. And they're just all naked, covered in blood on the front together.
Yeah,
and
I
like
remember that.
so like yes and no, because it did like I think it was like a cult following kind of thing.
Yeah, it does have a certain cult following, and it's a good show.
It's just a great show. Bring it back. Come on.
In a world where cars are the only thing that matter, the Fury Road, where people live on and die and get killed, one woman stands above all of them, and her name is Furiosa. Yeah.
That was kind of hot.
How was that? Like on a scale of 1 to 10?
Can you? I give it a good 8.
Really?
Yeah.
Thank you.
You kind of got into it. It started off at like a good 6.57, but you got into it.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Cool. No, I enjoyed
Joe would
it.
not bullshit me either. He would, if it's bad, he would tell me.
Yeah. Like I said, it started off. You were a little unsure, but you found your voice.
I was unsure.
You were unsure, but you found your voice. I saw it. I'd rate it a good 8.
Thank you. The movie this week, again, we've been very busy between the two of us. So we did, however, see, I guess this would be considered the first
blockbuster
movie of the year.
unless you count Garfield the movie.
I love me a good Monday.
Get some lasagna.
Yeah, get some lasagna.
Shove a lasagna up my ass and
Okay,
Sally.
I love lasagna.
That's
I
fair.
actually like if I really had to pick like lasagna's top 3 pasta. Like I would say.
Yeah, well, that's why it's on every Italian restaurant's menu.
Yeah, I would, but I hate when people like make a bad lasagna. I'm just like, what is this? Like you're wasting my time.
I have a question. Your opinions on ricotta, more or less?
More.
Okay, me too. Good. I can't stand a dry lasagna.
Oh, what are we doing?
Like what? They're like, it's low fat. Fuck you. We're eating lasagna.
I'm eating layers and layers of the pasta.
Pasta
bro.
and cheese. That's all this is.
Fatten me the fuck up.
But it is very much a winter dish. I can't, like right now, today when it's 98 degrees. Okay, we're getting off topic.
We're getting very off topic, but I do want to address that. I don't understand people who are like, this dish is only for this certain season or whatever like that. It's like, if I want chili in 90-degree weather, I'm eating chili.
That's crazy to me.
Like, just because it's winter, I'm not stopping to eat. I'm not going to eat ice cream anymore.
I think it only goes one way. Here's the thing, and this is, I think when it's too hot, there are definitely foods I do not want to eat. But when it's too cold, yeah, I'm going to eat ice cream.
See, doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, so you know what? Who didn't have that much food
or ice cream? Who had no ice cream? Furiosa. Or lasagna.
And that's why she had a sad childhood.
All she had was pain. That's what she got for breakfast.
So we're going to talk about Furiosa. What would you rate it, Joe?
I'm conflicted because if we gave Furiosa a line, I would have rated it a lot higher. She did not talk the whole movie. And I get that was like kind of the point. But even like I've read interviews with Anya Taylor-Joy and it went into, she's like, I went months and did not say a single word on set. And she was like, it was kind of traumatizing. And she's like, maybe in 20 years I can talk about it. Like this is a Variety like interview that she did. And she's like, but I mean, overall, just for the action alone, I'd give it a 7. Just for the action. If you were talking about this from a purely action, as a whole, I'd give it maybe a 6. Maybe a 5, to be honest.
Yeah, I like as a whole movie, I would probably give it a 5.5. Like there were some sets that I was just like, okay, this is awesome.
That's the thing. It's like
this is great.
They put all the money into the effects and the action, none into the writing of the story whatsoever. No. Like here's I don't know. Here's my thing about it is like in this interview that I like read with Anya Taylor-Joy, she gets into the fact that like the director wanted it to be very subdued, like very. She is just angry, but it's not female rage. She's stoic. She's not giving you any kind of emotion because she's shut down. Like that's her whole thing, and I get that. But even Anya Taylor-Joy was like, I want a moment of female rage. And we never really got that. And that's what, and so like if we just had that one moment where we actually saw Furiosa's like real feelings, but we didn't because a man was like, she is too strong. She wouldn't show her feelings like this because a man wouldn't do that. I don't know. Like it was just so strange to me, like how they worked her character. And the movie wasn't even really about her.
No. And so I'm not gonna lie. Now I'm thinking about it. I actually give it a 6, and because of Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
I think he played the fuck out of that role. I actually think that, but I think that is the detriment to this movie.
Yes.
Because we set it up and we're talking about Furiosa. It's called Furiosa. And like I just felt like she was kind of the side character.
It felt like she was a plot device. Like
yes.
we saw the rise and fall of Chris Hemsworth, which was very interesting and very good, but the movie wasn't supposed to be about him.
Yeah, no.
But
he stole every scene. I thought he was funny, clever. His nipples got ripped off.
Because she didn't talk, and his nipples did get ripped off, and I'm still confused about what that was. But thank you for showing Chris Hemsworth with blood dripping down his body. That was a thing I needed to see. I'm glad.
You're like that. That was worth the ticket.
That was for me. That was for me. You know, I was like, you know what? Maybe they are catering to some of the gays.
But if you don't know the plot of the movie, basically what happens is Furiosa, she lives in this utopia place where there's actually like grass.
The green place.
Like, the green place.
It's where there's water, there's food, you can live, but it's got to be a secret because nowhere else in Australia is like this. Because they did like show like this is in Australia, by the way.
They did show it.
I was like, oh, that makes sense.
That's why Chris Hemsworth's there.
Yeah.
He's Australian.
Well,
but a couple raiders came into the green place and they took Furiosa. Her mom then followed. And they took Furiosa to Chris Hemsworth's camp.
Because she was a healthy child, and they hadn't seen like a healthy child in years.
Yes. And so they were like, hey, take me back to your place. Like, we want to go to the green place. And they try to follow the tracks and everything like that. Her mom comes and saves her. And then they try to escape, but they can't get that far, and eventually Chris Hemsworth kills his mom.
Yeah.
Kills her mom. And that is like the jumping point of like, all right, this is where she's supposed to like, it's supposed to be like a revenge story.
Yeah.
Like, and I felt like, okay, yeah, Chris Hemsworth killed her mom, and we're going to get into this. I felt like we didn't.
No. But she was half the movie was her as a little girl.
Yeah, it was half.
Like it was half the movie where she was a little girl. I'm like, bitch, when does she become the bad bitch? Like I get the wanting to tell the story of how she gets there, but like we could have filled some of it in ourselves because we didn't even get those stories.
Yeah, this is like a 2.5 hour movie. Easily could have got cut to 210. I would say you could have easily.
I could almost go 145 because like it's not it. There's just so much extra stuff in it that did not add to it. Only because she did not talk. We did not get more character development for her other than she's an angry child.
That's the thing, and in the other Mad Max movie, we got so much character development and like. Her at the very end and letting go of her arm, like I felt her and like I thought I knew her.
Yes,
from just that movie. And this movie to me added no character at all to her.
Maybe they relied on the first movie too much, and because
I think that. And the thing is, this was promoted as a prequel. And so, like, to me at least, I feel like most prequels, I don't really need to see the first movie to get the prequel. You had to have seen Mad Max before seeing this movie. Like if you did not see Mad Max before this movie, you're not really going to understand what's going on.
And you're just sitting there, and I'm not going to lie, the whole time I'm sitting there, and it's just like literally half the movie is Chris Hemsworth just like yelling at this little girl, and then the whole time I'm like, please don't make it weird, please don't make it weird, please don't make it weird.
Hey, you know what? Hey. Round of applause.
Yes, thank you.
Didn't make it weird.
Thank you. I was so worried. I know it's like what like people are just trying to put. I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of gross storylines being pushed right now in modern media, and just for the shock value at all. And I just am so happy that we didn't add Chris Hemsworth to the list of child rapists in television.
Yeah, no, glad, but not gonna lie. Would it added a little bit more to the character? Something, because like to be honest, like yeah, he killed her, or like he killed her mom.
Yeah,
but then like that's it.
Well, I mean, he did like enslave her. Like she wasn't a
but
pet.
Like, but she wasn't like again. She wasn't raped. She wasn't like she was getting better treatment, I would say, than a lot of the other people that were there. And yeah, she kept her from going back home, and she wanted to go home. That's when she started getting tattoos to on her arm to be able to see how to get back home to the green place. But
Well,
we spend a whole 2.5 hour movie.
And then it just kind of follows. Like the first half is just Chris Hemsworth angrily yelling at a child. Child eventually gets away, and then the second half is just Mulan.
Yeah, no, child doesn't get away. He just gives the child.
Oh
away.
yeah. I forgot.
He just gives. Hey, I took
to
this,
that one. Yeah.
I'll take Gastown, and guess what? If I take Gastown and I give you this child, you will give me food constantly. And that's it. And I'm like, fine.
Yeah.
And so I just
and then even that. So like her being traded in to be a wife, because that's what it was.
Yes.
She was traded in to be a wife, and then she went out and hung out with the wives, but we didn't even like even that part would have made the next movie make more sense, but they just gloss over the wives.
It was like probably
10 seconds.
Yeah.
Like
20 seconds.
I'm not kidding. Like she spends 10 seconds with them and then escapes. Like
it was one line in what was it? The milk room? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
One line in there with the wives, and then just she escapes. And so then, and again, you have to watch Mad Max, Fury Road.
But they could have built those relationships up. It would have made it make more sense.
Yes.
And it would have shown us more of her. But it just didn't. They just didn't do that.
Yeah, because in the other
we had
movie,
to give her a love story.
She saved these wives. She let them escape, and like she was trying to protect them. And
that's like the main storyline.
Yes.
Is her saving these women.
Yes. And in this movie, you didn't understand like why she cared for these women. Why does she want these women? Like,
but then, and we're just gonna get spoiler alert. But then at the end, she literally is just like, that's the end. Is her going and saving the wives? Like it goes directly into the next movie.
it's a 15-second scene, and then all of a sudden at the very end credits. We're just watching
scenes from the next movie.
Yes.
I just feel like they relied so heavily on that because they needed to, because they didn't give Anya Taylor-Joy any fucking lines.
No, and like again, guys, like from like the previous pods, I was super excited for this movie.
Yeah,
I was like,
too.
I'm ready for Furiosa to be like the fucking hellbent Kill Bill, and like to be honest, she wasn't hellbent ever in this movie.
Not until her boyfriend started catching some heat. And that pissed me off more than anything. I was like, oh, the one time where she starts acting like a badass is for a white man? Seriously? Fuck this.
Yeah, and so I thought his character was decent.
He was fine. He was a good,
good side character.
Good side character, but like, is the driving force for her really the fact that she loves him, or is it the fact that she hates this motherfucker? And it got muddy.
And that's the thing I would say is probably the detriment of this movie. Is like I don't know. I would say probably like the last third. I don't know what is the driving factor. I don't know what's the motivations anymore. I don't know what is important to her. Except for at the very end, I need to kill. I guess I got to kill him. But it's like, why?
There's one part of the movie that really pissed me off. And this is the reason why I was like, maybe it's a 5. Chris Hemsworth bumped it up to a 6.
Yes.
But maybe it's a 5 because when they were in Gastown and doing all that bullshit and there was like a trap and she gets out and he's like, keep going, I'll hold him.
Go to the green place.
Go to the green place.
Go to the green place.
And she is in the car, starts going, stops, flips it in reverse, and goes back. That Furiosa wouldn't do that. I mean, maybe she would, but like, I don't know. But for the character, it didn't make sense because the whole motivation up until now is for her to go to the green place by herself. That's what this whole movie's been about. He's been in it. He's been in it for 10 minutes, maybe.
Because at that point, I didn't feel like she was like, I need to kill Chris Hemsworth. I didn't feel that anymore. I didn't feel like she had to kill him.
I don't think she was going to.
Her main goal was just to get to Green Place. And then she had that chance and she said, no, I'm going to save him. But it's just like, but I've never felt like the like there was one scene where him and her were like, touch heads.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, you could get a sense like they're closer now, but at the same time, her number one thing was to get to Green Place. So then she said, fuck going to Green Place. I need to save him. She loses her fucking arm. Now she doesn't know how to get to Green Place. Now she's mad. Now she just has to revenge kill Chris Hemsworth. What we kill Chris Hemsworth. Now what are we doing?
Look,
we're just randomly going to save a couple wives.
Is the moral of the story, if your boyfriend is in moral danger, don't go back for him? Because that's the lesson I learned.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, there was a lot of good ratings for this movie, so I was very excited. But like, I just think it was just an okay movie. They dialed it in on the action. They dialed it in on the effects. Shot beautifully. I think it was a beautiful fucking movie. The story just did not track because I think if we're gonna have a movie called Furiosa and it's about a woman, I think a woman should direct it. I'm sorry. I do. And I think there are women directors who can do explosions just as good as Michael Bay or whoever. I would disagree with that.
Fine.
Oh, like Steven Spielberg with Aliens.
But that was about aliens.
Was it about aliens in the second movie? Was it about aliens?
Yes. It was about aliens.
Again, Kill Bill, directed by a man. I think those are great. I think
fair enough.
I think they're great movies. I just think that like for some and we got character development in those movies.
Fair enough.
I just think that that's the big problem with this one is like when, like you said, when I hear a name of Furiosa, that's your fucking name. I need to see fury. I need to see rage. I need to see you being a bad bitch. And I don't think he did that well.
No.
Yeah. Bring.
I got a text.
Yes. Welcome, Islanders, back to season 11 of Love Island.
See, you like tried to go into a British accent a little bit, but it started going Jamaican real quick, and you backed out. I caught that.
I can't do a British accent. I really
cannot
cannot
do a British accent.
I can't.
You can't?
Yeah, I sound like not like a. It's not posh at all. It's more like a Welsh almost accent. That shit's so dirty.
Oh yeah, I can't even do a Welsh accent. God.
Yeah, no. So, TV show that I'm going to talk about is one that like me and my wife. Actually, first shout out to my friend Emma, and it is the dumbest. It is the funniest, random, stupid show I've ever watched. And I'm just hooked on it.
Now, to be clear, there are a lot of Love Islands. Which one are we talking about right now?
You have to talk about the OG, the UK version.
Yes.
I'm just like, I have watched like a couple seasons of US, and I've watched Australia. I actually really like Australia. It's much quicker, faster, and they cut kind of to the point. But UK has always got to have a special spot in my heart.
It's got that sparkle in the villa.
Yes.
Like,
also, like the accents just make it all.
It makes it sound so much better than it is.
Like, I would much rather watch people with accents be dumb as shit than watch just a normal Americans just be stupid.
That's the thing is, like, I've tried to watch Love Island USA so many times, and like this, like, I'm sorry, I just can't take a motherfucker named Bergie who talks like this seriously.
Yeah, no, it's. And then, like, you're just like, okay, this person's, like, super basic, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's just like, come on, guys. Like,
it's almost like a foray into a different dating world.
Yeah. Yeah, so I actually really think that's probably the thing. Because I want to know what is dating like, across the pond.
Because it's awful here.
I'm married, so, like, life is good.
Oh, must be nice. What's it like being God's favorite?
But, so... This season, Love Island has started, and if you don't know what Love Island is, it's a dating show where they get, this season actually, they got 6 men and 6 women, all parts of the UK. They put them on an island in Monaco. The villa is so nice.
It's so nice.
They all live in a villa together, and it's kind of like Big Brother, where there's an episode every single day.
Even Big Brother isn't that aggressive. This is my biggest problem with Love Island is like 5 days a week, an hour, 5 days a week.
Yeah.
It's a commitment. And you got to kind of skip around sometimes because like, girl.
That's my only problem about Love Island. Because back in the day, and I think this season kind of feels that way. Back in the day, it was trashy. And like I got the trashy vibe. And what happened in like season 2, Miss Great Britain sucked a dude off, like under the covers and stuff like that.
Been there.
And then she lost her title because of it.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And
we're adults. Come on.
And so basically like what happened was, I would say season 5 on, a lot of people who got on the show are there strictly for clout.
Yeah.
And
I was picking up on that's kind of where I dipped out. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. And they can't like act kind of like some of the ways they want to. But I really liked last season. Last season actually is like, I would say probably one of my favorite seasons. And this one has potential because all these people are a little bit more trashy.
That's great. Are they more unknowns or are they real? Or are they like? Because here's the thing with this show that I've saw that sort of is they were just pulling in random people. They had somewhat of a social media following, but it wasn't like a mainstay. But then it got into they were bringing in people who already had that following built in, which is smart from a certain perspective. But these people are influencers and they were performing the whole time.
Yeah, and like so that's kind of the problem with some of the seasons was like they would just bring in like somebody from the past who's like, oh, I've already been through. Now sometimes like, you know, like Adam, like they're super like hot and everything. So everybody like loves them.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I kind of like it because it fucks up the whole vibe of the villa. And that's the whole point.
Yeah.
Is like, the point is like, and that's my problem with a lot of like love reality TV shows. We're not here for love anymore, guys. We're in the age of Instagram, TikTok, like you're influencers now. And you know the second you get on the show, you're at least gonna triple, quadruple X amount of your followers.
You enter the public, you enter in as a public figure.
Yeah, you become a nobody to a D-list celebrity. And that's okay. And if you win, C-list celebrity. And so that's why now I think the producers are just saying fuck it now, and we're just going to cause drama.
Back to basics. That's what I like to see.
And that's what I want. And so you got a bunch of these characters. If we're not filming this episode, guys, so I can't really show you all the people who I would. But you got your typical one black guy, Ao. He's just a nice guy. He's like 6'7", 6'6", something like that. Footballer. Kieran, who's also a footballer.
See, it came back full circle.
Yes, it did come back. We have Ronnie, and if you saw a fucking picture of Ronnie is a fucking creep.
I love Ronnie. I see. I haven't even watched the show. I'm in love with Ronnie.
All right, Ronnie has the chat, but his receding hairline is so far back.
Maybe that's
slick back.
Maybe that's the thing. I'm attracted to these guys because they're attainable.
It's because you're 30 now.
Nothing. Here's the thing. I'm like, you know what? A receding hairline. He looks financially secure.
Yeah, it's true. Sean, he is a candy guy.
He just looks dumb and hot.
He sells candy.
He sells candy.
He sells candy.
Wow. For somebody who sells candy, he's kind of.
You have Manveer.
Oh, Manveer. Oh,
he's a tech bro.
This is
he's a tech recruiter.
Oh, he's a beautiful man.
Yeah.
that hair.
He is a good looking guy.
Like,
and he's like the first Indian that's like been a starter,
which is crazy because like in England they have a huge Indian population, but I mean there is that subtle racism there.
Not subtle. And then you have Sam.
Woo! Sam
is
Taylor. Okay, here's the thing. I just wish this would be a perfect. I don't like the red in the tattoos. I love a tattoo. If you're gonna have color, you need to have it in more spots than that. I'm just getting into this is so. But this man is. Oh no, is he a Gemini? I see the Gemini symbol on his chest. Oh God,
Jesus Christ.
He's a menace. He's a menace.
Actually, he's actually a nice guy. I actually like him.
I don't know if I trust that coming from you.
And ask her. Ask my wife. But he's also a hairstylist.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
Is that
yeah.
Did that go up or down?
It went up. It went up.
Okay.
It went up. It went up. I love something about a tradesman with tattoos and a beard.
Yeah.
And I do consider hairstyling a trade.
And so I'm going to be honest. This is the first season I would say that the guys look better than the girls.
Yeah.
Because, and here again is another problem that I feel like a lot of these love shows are, because they're influencers, and especially over the UK, they're like, I have to like get lip filler. I have to get my cheekbones lit. Like I got to do anything and everything. And so now all these girls are just starting to look the same. And you can tell that like you definitely didn't look like that before.
And my thing with it is like, it makes you look older to me.
Yes.
Because like a facelift makes a 50-year-old woman look better. A facelift on a 20-year-old looks like the skin is being stretched over your fucking face, and then you put a couple implants in.
So we have Harriet, who is 24.
That contour is so dark.
Yeah.
That nose contour. Are they taking makeup tips from drag queens? Because that's also not making it great either.
Oh my
That
god!
that. Look at her cheek. There is a dark line on her cheek.
So this season is a very trashy season, and I'm already here for it. So like literally, Harriet got so mad because Kieran at one point he was like, "Hey, I need to get to know some other girls." So he takes another girl into the hideaway. Which is usually like the sex room.
Yeah, the boom boom room.
Yeah, but this season it's just open now, which is kind of like strange.
Like it's like open air.
No, it's anybody can walk in, go into the hideaway at any point. Usually it's like a
reward.
A reward, yeah. So he takes a girl in the hideaway. It's like, hey, I'm like just trying to get to know you. She's like, oh, you did that? Fuck you. Like without talking to him, fuck you. I'm going to take another guy into the hideaway, and specifically, I'm going to make you jealous. And she tells the girl that's coupled up with that guy. And she's like, the fuck?
America at Home, my jaw just dropped because that's crazy.
Yes, no. Harriet is crazy. Then you have Jess. Jess is probably your most naturally.
Yeah, Jess looks pretty. She looks like she's got that old European look to her.
Yeah, she's the most natural, I would say, pretty person there. She's cool. I actually really like Jess.
Good.
Jess is a pretty cool person. You have Mimi.
She's beautiful.
She's the one black chick.
She's beautiful, and I can tell from the belly button ring. I don't know. Are belly button rings trashy still?
I never thought they were trashy.
I don't know.
Mimi is I would say the baddest chick there. You have Nicole. Nicole plays off kind of like your sweetheart. She cries about a lot of things.
She's got a lot of teeth.
She's a daddy's girl. She's a huge daddy's girl.
I'm out.
Dad,
I don't like it.
Dad pays for anything.
I hate that
dad
shit.
Does everything. She said dad brings the car around for her and like parks it where she can leave every single time. And like she's supposed to run the bit. Like she's the account manager of her dad's business.
Of course she is.
But like she doesn't do fucking shit.
See,
like,
I'm so out.
Yes.
I hate that shit. Drives me up a wall.
You have Samantha.
She's pretty. I like her.
Is a bitch. Like she 100%. She's a makeup artist, and like she comes off as a bitch.
I'll probably like her.
You probably actually would.
I'll probably love her.
Then you have Patsy, who's an office administrator. She's the oldest person in the villa, and she's there for a fun time, and you can definitely tell that.
Good. She looks like somebody who doesn't care. She just wants to.
And so the interesting thing about this season is the way they coupled everybody up. Like usually it's like, oh, all the girls stand there, and then the guys come in, and then the girls stand which one they want to couple up with. This time, they play some games, and they were like, all right, because usually girls come in first, and then the guys come in, or vice versa, maybe. No, they actually brought everybody in at the same time, and then they were like, okay, for your first thing, we want you guys to rank each other. Who's the best girlfriend and boyfriend material?
That's crazy.
So, like, you've only known these people, and no one is very loose.
This is like my favorite. I love making snap judgments about. I just did it. I just did it for like 10 minutes straight. I just made snap judgments of people based off their appearance.
Yes, you literally have met these people for an hour, and then you have to rank these people from. But the thing that pisses me off is like, why are you guys getting butthurt about this?
Like, they don't know you.
People really get butthurt.
Oh, they got mad?
Yes.
Oh, guys, we need some self-awareness here.
The girl that you like, Samantha, got really mad because she got put near the bottom. Yeah.
Well, you didn't give a good first impression, babe.
But let's be honest, she does not look like she is girlfriend material.
No, that is a woman that you love, but you don't not home to mom.
Yeah. And this is how they got coupled up. The top boyfriend girlfriend coupled, and then they could just coupled up. And so the worst boyfriend and girlfriend got coupled up as well.
That's fucking crazy.
So nobody got to choose.
I love that.
But to be honest, I think it's better than last season.
No, I think that's great.
Because last season, they had the public randomly choose these people.
Oh.
And let's be honest, Britain's, like, UK is pretty racist. So, of course, well, black people got to be with black people.
Yes,
like,
every time. That happens here, too, though.
Yeah,
I feel like even on, like, whatever, I'm not Too Hot to Handle, somehow the two black people ended up together. How'd that happen?
Yeah.
How were they a perfect match?
Yeah, exactly. So it's more random, but that does cause drama because like some people are like, I'm not attracted to him. He turns me off. And so what happens is first episode at the very end, they bring in a bombshell. If you don't know what a bombshell is. So the premise of the show is, for those who don't know Love Island, they just keep bringing random people in and like to see if your couple's strong enough. And then they make that random person either choose, take away girls, take away guys. They can couple up, recouple, do whatever the fuck they want.
And sometimes nobody wants them and they just go home. But that very rarely happens.
It very rarely happens. And so that's what brings the drama in is like you have these 6 couples or 5 couples. And then we just bring more people in.
And see, this is what reality TV shows should be, is forced drama for the sake of drama built into the show's premise. If the show does not facilitate drama in the premise or production, then what are we doing?
And I think what made me really fall in love with Love Island was Casa Amor. Which what happens is mid-season, once we've gone through like a few rounds of like new random people, and it's just like, no, my love is strong. Like, we're good. I do want to just stay with, like, I don't care who comes in. What happens is they take all the guys or all the girls, put them in another villa, and then bring in 5 or 6 more
I don't remember this.
Oh, yes. They bring in 5 or 6 more new random girls or guys. And then whoever's left over, random new bitches are in there. And so...
That's crazy.
Yes. And so
that's like actually insane.
But they stayed like 3 days there. So like you're like 3 whole days with like, let's say you and me like
this is Cheater Island. That's all.
That's what it is.
They're like, and here that's Love Island, and now we're gonna go to Cheater Island for 3 days.
Yeah. So like if you're coupled up with a person for like 2 whole weeks, you're like, yeah, I'm really good, and then all of a sudden, boom, my girl's gone, and then you have to sleep in bed. You don't have to. You can choose. But most of the time, you sleep in bed with a random person for another 3 days, 4 days.
Oh, they make them sleep in the beds together at the thing?
Yes.
God.
So it adds that drama, especially those who are like, oh, I don't know. So that's the forced drama.
Yes.
That it is. So this season, what they bring in to start off is this guy who's already in other reality TV shows. His name is Joey Essex.
Oh.
He's 33. He's past some of his fuckboy phases and wants to be real. Joey's hot.
He doesn't look like he's past his fuckboy phase.
Oh,
With those,
100% he does.
with those board shorts. Sorry, if a man is in board shorts, everyone talks about hoochie daddy shorts, but if you see a straight man in board shorts, he is a slut.
But look on what he used to look like.
What?
Yeah, he cut that hair.
I mean, he looks better now.
Oh no, 100%.
Good for him.
100%. So you bring in these people and literally day one, they're like, okay, we're bringing in Joey Essex. Tomorrow you're going to pick a girl and that guy is gone instantly. So you're taking somebody away. Somebody's already gone. So I love that forced drama. This season, it feels trashy. It feels like it's going to go, either down or up. Doesn't fucking matter to me as long as I get some entertainment.
It sounds like the bombshells are going to cause problems.
Yes, and that's what we're here for.
Oh, can't wait.
And talking about the UK.
And love.
And love.
I have been watching Bridgerton. I'm all caught up. I'm finished. I'm going to try to leave as many spoilers out as possible, but no promises because I really like this season. Here's the thing. A lot of people have some shit to say about this season. And at the end of the day, most of it comes down to we just hate fat people. Just call a spade because men are never going to be like, yes, we love fat women. Even though some of them do. They won't say it with their chest.
Yeah.
And women, and I felt this, and this isn't necessarily women, this is kind of just a skinny versus fat thing. People don't like seeing fat people with, I don't want to say normal people, but with average body size people because it devalues them and the work they've put into their bodies. They feel that you finding somebody attractive who's fat means, well, I could have just been fat, or I didn't have to do Pilates. I didn't have to, but we place so much in it. And I don't want to say it's women, but especially within women, we place so much value.
I don't want to say women, but especially in women.
But it's true. But I don't want to say it because it's true. We place value in their bodies as a society. And I don't think that's a controversial statement to say, no. But if you show appreciation for somebody who is deemed of a lesser value, people want to fight. They get mad. They don't like seeing a fat person win. And that's all I'm going to say about it. It's just sad how Nicola has been treated in a lot of this, but she has taken it in such stride. It's so beautiful. She's like, I'm so sorry you hate perfect breasts. I'm so sorry you don't like that cushion for the push-in. If it's not for you, it's not for you, and that's fine. But I will say, whoever's saying this season is boring, go fuck yourselves. It is not boring. Literally, we're watching Penelope Featherington fight for her life, and it's so beautiful. And yeah, she got the hot guy. And why is that so wrong? But
I'm not gonna lie though. When I saw Nicola, her age. Yeah. I was very shocked.
She's well into her 30s.
Yes.
She looks good.
She looks easily like she'd be in high school.
Yeah.
100%.
And I mean, she was playing a high schooler 2 years ago,
I know,
and she was in her 30s then. But no, she looks so good. I don't know what camp Shonda Rhimes sends these boys to for their glow up, but Colin did not look like that. It looks like he's on a body double because that boy got wide, broad shoulders. And I don't know, if they just hid that before, but this man got some shoulder width to him. I don't know what it is.
First of all, she's 37.
Yes.
She does not look a day over 19.
So when Dairy Girls was coming out and she was playing a literal 15, 16-year-old, she was in her 30s or about to be in her 30s. Yes, she looks like the sweetest little muffin and she's so beautiful. But
yeah, but you're right though. Luke Newton, Colin. Mm-hmm. Where did this glow up come
where it's
did
crazy.
That glow up come from?
And I'm not saying he didn't have shoulders like that that wide back. I don't know what she's doing to these people, but yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yes,
he was.
I just saw before when he was first started
his
now.
His whole stature changed. It's crazy, but she's doing it to these men. But honestly, what I find interesting about this season is a lot of things happen to where Penelope, she needs the validation. She needs Colin to validate her because And
so yeah, what's the season about?
So what the season is about Penelope, really. And Penelope, it kind of feels like she's been in the through line of this series entirely. She's almost like the Daenerys. Like, we didn't really realize it was all about her, but it was kind of all about her up until this point. So what it is she's going into the season. She's realizing that she needs a dude who, like, she just needs to get married because her mom is like, don't worry, you can be a rich spinster with me and we'll just live our lives together. And she was like, oh, fuck this. No, she's like, that was the worst. That was the most, she's like, Mom, if you had said that 3 years ago, I would have been married by now. So she goes out and she's like, I need to find a husband, but nobody likes her because of all the scandals that happened last season. So she enlists Colin, her childhood best friend, who just came home from his tours in Europe, to help her, even though in the last season he was like, I would never court Penelope. I wouldn't go near her with a 10-foot pole, blah, 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 all this shit. She writes a scathing review about him in Lady Whistledown's letters, and then he gets pissed off, and so he's like, blah blah blah, I hate Lady Whistledown, she's the worst. And Penelope's like, tee, I'm Lady Whistledown. And so really the story goes into how they develop feelings for each other. But the real thing of it all is the queen is on the hunt for Lady Whistledown. She wants Lady Whistledown, and she's going through the most dramatic means to get it, even to the point of putting a bounty on whoever can bring any information about who Lady Whistledown is. She'll give you £5,000, which is a lot of money back then. That's a lot. It was a lot of money back then. So you have all these people. So that adds another layer to it. There's also Francesca, and kind of dealing with, like, she's like very clearly on the spectrum and like dealing with those issues and like trying to find a husband and all of that. But it's just, I don't know. I don't get why people are complaining about this. I thought it was really fun. There were times where my jaw dropped, and I mean dropped. There's 3 ways somebody finds out the power of the prostate. I'm not going to say who, but but it was very clear that man enjoyed getting his prostate milked. So
God, milked. God.
Look, it happens. You got to watch it to find out. But I do think that it had a lot of fun. I do think we're kind of nearing the end of Bridgerton. I don't really know where we're going to go from here because, you know, everything just worked out. Everything worked out fine. Everything was great. I do understand why people don't like this show in general because it is very like pop, happy, just kind of nonsensical, like pure fantasy. Like, there's no racial issues in Regency England, and there's all these like beautiful people, but there's also
but that's not the purpose of the show.
No,
like, that's the whole thing. Like, it's okay to have a happy show.
Yes,
like there's nothing wrong with that. Because I watched the first season. I haven't watched the second or third. But I know everything that's happened in the second and third season.
Yeah.
So, and it's just a good time. It's a fun thing. You know what? If you want just a little bit of hot breathing and like just a little bit of fucking here and there, just, you know, want to get your little rocks on, you know, right now, it's a good show to watch. Like, I don't know why some people have like, we need to add more. We need to add more problems and more drama and more tension and of racism.
Well,
like,
and that's the other thing is I feel like within this show, like it's kind of like Schitt's Creek in the fact that like there's no homophobia in Schitt's Creek. There's no racism here. They do kind of talk about it a little bit, but it's like very like, oh, that was years ago. Like,
yeah.
And so it's kind of interesting in that fact. But I do find what's interesting about this season is like people are mad that there like wasn't more drama or that it was like quote unquote boring. And like honestly, every time they like came to an issue, Penelope would go to Colin and be like, here's what's going on. I would like to talk about this. And he goes, okay, well, here's my feelings on this. And then they would just like talk and then it would be fine. Because honestly, in most television shows, if the 2 characters just talked, there wouldn't be a show. So I can see, but like at the end of the day, maybe check on yourself if you think that watching 2 people communicate openly and effectively is bad.
We like healthy relationships.
Yeah, like kind of look at yourself a little there in the fact that you need their, and it's not getting me wrong. There was a lot of toxicity. She was lying to him. He was lying to her. There was this whole thing. So you want to say it's boring because they talked about the lies and actually opened up about it? Fuck off. Grow up. You're a toxic person.
So what would you rate this this season?
I would rate it a good 7. I don't think it blew my mind out of the water. I don't think anything like crazy happened, but I think it was a good Bridgerton series.
Where would you rank it?
Where would I rank it?
2 and 3.
I feel like the first one is just like, I don't know. The first one's like the pinnacle. It was the first, and it like kind of laid the blueprint, and it gave us the introduction to the world. And like, I just think it was like a great season of television, a great pilot season of television.
Yeah.
Between 2 and 3, I think I kind of liked this one more. My problem is like, I'm not going to lie. Out of all the relationships in the show, I'm way more invested in Penelope and Eloise's. I think that they are such...
I just like Penelope as a character.
Yes. I like Penelope and Eloise. I could just sit there and listen to like, oh God, Netflix, if you're hearing me now, please somehow get them to do a podcast in their characters about books. I would watch that for hours, even just like a quick 10-minute whatever. Think about it. Podcast, Penelope, Eloise, it'll be perfect promotion. But I was just more invested in their relationship than anything. I was like, I know we're going to end up with Colin. I need to know if they'll still be friends by the end of this. Because it was rough. That friendship was rough. And I was more stressed out about that friendship than any of the bullshit with romantic relationships. But yeah, no, overall, Netflix, if you didn't know Bridgerton was on Netflix, great show. I think if you haven't watched it, you should give it a chance. It's very happy. It's very lovey. There's a little drama, but at the end of the day, everything always works out, and that's what makes it comfy. And there's a lot of good sex. But it's like it's like a comfy show with like orgasms. And who doesn't want comfy with orgasms?
I would like to be comfy when I have an orgasm.
I like to be comfortable when orgasm too. Who wants to have a stressful orgasm?
Some people do.
So, yeah, well, that's true.
Okay, and that's gonna wrap up our show, man. Got a lot of good TV out there. I cannot wait. Just want to let you guys know we are definitely gonna start our Game of Thrones talk.
Yeah, if you don't like Game of Thrones or you don't want spoilers, just like don't listen to our episodes yet.
Yeah, okay, still listen. They will be at the end of the episode.
I said yeah. Once you finish your weekly watch, then listen to our episode.
Yes. Our weekly drop will happen after the episode. So, and it will premiere a whole week later. So we're going to be about a week behind, and that will give you enough time to watch the episode.
Stay caught up.
Because again,
I want to see Mommy Rhaenyra. Oh, well, I mean, we weren't going to get into it, but the marketing for this show,
top tier.
My God, like the Team Green versus Team Black, and then all this. But I saw this one girl being like, "Hey, like just needed to check in." Who the fuck is Team Green?
Nobody.
But they're manufacturing this Team Green versus Team Black thing, and I think it's some of the best marketing I've seen in a long time.
So again, we're gonna start a House of the Dragon episode recaps starting next week, and cannot wait. And there's just so much good TV coming out.
Oh, there really is. Doctor Who's going. Yes. Interview with the Vampire is amazing.
The
Boys just started. I already watched all 3 episodes.
And good movies coming out. So we still got a lot of stuff coming out for especially this summer. But we're going to be talking about House of the Dragon. But let's end our show. I'm your host, Jordan.
And I'm Joe.
This is Double Trouble Features.